What's going on, everybody? I ran out of my liver of sulfur, so now I have to make more. For those of us in the metal melting community already know, liver of sulfur is very expensive. For a 2 ounce bottle or a 4 ounce bottle, it's like 20 bucks, and 2 or 4 ounces isn't very much. So for far, far less than 40 bucks or 20 bucks, I can make my own. I already had this piece of equipment here for some of the other hobbies that I am into. I already had this here for some of the other hobbies that I'm into, which is also a household cleaner for your drain. It is 100% sodium hydroxide, or lye. So we got our lye, we got our magnetic stir plate, we have sulfur, and we have water. So what we need, I am bringing the recipe, cutting the recipe down a little bit. I am running with 150 milliliters of water, magnetic stir, power up, get that stir bar going. Not too fast. And we start adding some heat. Alright, so this is starting to release some fumes, so I had to turn my exhaust fan on. It's probably not good to breathe that in, but yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe if I put this behind it. It's fuming off, so that's probably not good to breathe in. Oh yeah, we're getting warm. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Alright, from here we are going to add 7.5 grams of sulfur powder. I don't know which smells worse, the sodium hydroxide or the sulfur. It doesn't smell like burnt or rotten eggs or anything like that. It's not a pleasant smell. 7.5, 6, close enough. Check this out. There's a house on my property, abandoned. It's been empty since, I want to say, the 50s or very early 60s. And this bottle right here, according to the date on the bottom, was produced in 59. Did I have that right? Hold on. 51. Okay. And it expires in 2021. But I would say it's still pretty good. So we're going to make sure the cap is tight on that. Hold on. All right, the cap is tight. So now, all right, that's not too hot. So we're going to start adding a little bit of heat again. And just a little bit, because the sulfur powder is hydrophobic. And if I dump it all in, it will just literally float on top. There is absolutely no way I'd ever be able to get it mixed in. I've tried. I've tried it without the heat plate. I've tried it without the stir bar. And it don't work out very well. So maybe we'll turn the stir bar up a little bit. Now it's ripping. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get that sulfur powder broken up in here. I got a lot more to dump in. Ah, screw it, it'll get broken up. So it's all in there, 7.5 grams. So for those of you who are following at home, 150 milliliters of water, 26 grams of calcium hydroxide, or lye, which is just another name for it, and sulfur powder. You can also get sulfur chips, sulfur, whatever. As long as it's pure sulfur, it'll be fine. Now, once all the sulfur is broken down in here, it'll just be a tinted yellow. I mean, it's yellow now, but if we look and turn the stir off, there's a lot of sulfur still in there, just sitting right up on top. Hasn't gotten into solution yet. So we'll turn the stir bar back up. Let this go for just a little bit. It's starting to give me a headache. Let me get down so I don't stand up above the fumes. These magnetic stir plates, they're pretty cheap. So if you are one of those people out there purchasing a liver of sulfur, I would definitely invest in one of these things instead. I mean, you can stir it with a spoon, it'll just take a really long time. So we're gonna let this go for a little bit and I will be back. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. The sulfur is still not diluted. However, I have been turning the heat off because I'm a little worried about my flask up here getting a little too hot. So I mean, it's borosilicate glass. It should be able to withstand the heat. I've never had one bust on me before, but at the same time, I don't want to be that YouTuber making another video and having a borosilicate jar explode on his heat plate and spill toxic chemicals all over the place. So yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on the heat. It's just barely warm, but if you notice, the color has started to change down below, and up top it's still pretty light yellow. In the middle you can see kind of where it's going though. It's more of a darker colored yellow. So it is not done yet. I'm going to turn the stir bar up just a little more, not very much, because it started to splatter a little bit. I mean, yeah, I got to clean up the sand. I've been making pours. I'm getting back into it. One of my cheap furnaces is fixed, so I got that going again. The tabletop is still broken. Yeah, money well spent. Anyway, yeah, liver of sulfur. In the end, I'll show you how well it works or does not work. My last batch turned out working very well, and we'll find out together how this turns out. I gotta be honest with you, staring at this it's almost mesmerizing. That looks pretty cool in my opinion. I hope the video uploads in a high enough definition to where you're able to see what I'm seeing. See the color changing? It's getting darker. It's also getting a lot hotter, so I'm gonna kill the heat for a little while. I think we're almost up to temperature. I would imagine there's a certain temperature that the sulfur breaks down and goes into solution. What that is, I do not know. But it's definitely over 100 degrees. I'm just going to keep this going until the whole thing breaks down. Make sure those aren't bubbles floating around in there. Turn the stir off. There's still some particles floating around in there. So we're going to keep it going. Not too high though, because I don't want it spitting shit all over again. Turn that down just a little. Or maybe not. We're going to turn that back up. Look at it go. Woo-hoo. Oh, it's spitting shit. Can't have that happen. Okay. Now that it's done spitting acid at me, let me come back down here. I gotta be honest with you, right now I'm getting a ripping migraine. I don't think that vent is doing a very good job. Maybe I should build a box around it to come down. Yeah. I have 8-inch vent pipe. That flexible vent pipe. Almost like a dryer vent pipe. Maybe I'll connect that up there and have it hanging down so I can move it around. Because this shit is toxic. My eyeballs are starting to hurt. Alright, I'm going to turn this off and quit complaining. The color's changed a lot though. It's almost there. We are so close. Just a little bit left that needs to go into solution. Not much at all. Let's turn the stir off. See if anything rises to the top. I put my beaker on top so it didn't splash out. I turned the stir up. Not a whole lot. A few more minutes should do it. I think it's been about, I don't know, maybe a half an hour since the beginning. Not too long. I need to get one of those round dishes that I could set right on top. They actually make them specifically for this purpose. Instead of using a beaker. I have different lab glass for different things. So now that this has had acid in it, they can't be used for food grade experiments anymore. Whoa. Okay, maybe that's a bad idea. That is why they make specific little glasses for these things. Okay. I gotta get this rinsed off. Hold on. I'm gonna set that back on there for 1 second, turn the camera off, and I'll be right back. We're almost there. See if anything floats to the top. Turn the stir off. Just a few little granules. That's it. Alright, I'm gonna leave this go for another minute or so. Oh. I think the stir bar in there jumped. There we go. Good catch. Alright. So the heat is absolutely necessary. That's not quite 200 degrees, but it's real close. It's hot enough to burn my hand. My hand's covered with calluses, so it takes a few minutes, well, a few seconds for it to actually hurt. One time, my girl I was dating at the time, her brother was over, and I don't know what I was thinking. I decided to take my lighter to the ball of his foot, the heel of his foot. And I waited for him to react before I pulled the lighter away, and it took a solid 2.5 to 3 seconds before he actually felt it. And from there it just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter even after he pulled his foot away. I don't know, I thought it was funny. I guess you had to be there. I think we're good. I'm going to kill the heat, kill the stir bar. Excellent. Now we are going to get a storage vessel. And I got little droplets all over the place. That ain't cool. Wow. Alright, I'll have to do something about that. So here's what I'm going to keep it in. Old aspirin bottle. Now, normally I would say do not put liver of sulfur in a plastic bottle. That's just bad. You can't put acid in plastic. However, some acids, the only way you can contain them is a certain kind of plastic. Number 2, HDPE, high density propylene ethyl or ethylene, high density propylene ethylene plastic. I think, yeah, something like that. But ultimately the number 2 is what I want. Otherwise it will leach through. I think the number 5 is also good, but I'm not positive. I would have to go back and look into that. So right now I am going to pour it in here, and then we're going to find out how well this stuff works. Hopefully I don't spill it. I did make sure. Now technically this bottle will hold 200 plus milliliters of fluid, but I only put 150 milliliters in here. Number 1, I didn't know how much space the 42 grams of powder, I didn't know how much volume that would add, so I didn't fill it. Whoa, apparently there was some left over at the bottom. That's alright, that ain't gonna hurt nothing. Let's cap this, bring it upstairs, get the fuck out of these fumes, and see how we did. Alright, so while I'm getting ready to test out our product, I am also going to get ready to neutralize the things that we put in the acid. And I'm sure I just put far too much baking soda in there. That's okay. Alright, I'm just going to stir this try to get as much of the baking soda broke down into solution, whatever, diluted as much as possible. So after we pull the pieces out of the acid, they will go directly into here to neutralize it, so I don't get chemical burns. Something like that anyway. Oh, here's some of the things I'm going to work on, or I've been working on. My most recent pieces. Hold on a second. Alright, so here's some of the most recent pieces. That is 3 inches round. This right here is going to the Wounded Warrior benefit. So if you are interested in an enormously large, oversized Morgan dollar, let me know. You know what? I'm not going to tone this yet. I still got to stamp it. We're going to set that aside. Some other stuff I've been playing with. Many of you recognize these, or this. This is my motorcycle letter opener. I have made many, many, many of these things for benefits. And they've always done rather well. I think on average they sold for about 90 bucks a piece, and they usually weigh around an ounce. This one is 1.25 ounces, 3/9 fine. I never saved any of my pieces. I either sold them or, well, the majority I gave them away. So I think I just want to start adding to my own collection of art. Ultimately, like, I haven't kept anything. So I'm looking forward to getting this toned up, because right now it doesn't look great. It's a cool piece, but I'm hoping it's going to look better when it's toned. The detail is so fine on here. I couldn't get it all. I couldn't capture all of the detail. So I'm hoping the little bit that I did get from it will tone up nicely and help a lot of the other detail jump out. We'll see. Okay, I think it's time. Alright, so I got a little bit of water in a pot on the stove here. See if we can do this without making a big mess. And from my experiences and what I've been told, the liver of sulfur works best when the water is warm. Alright, so hold on. Alright, doing this one-handed was getting a little difficult, so let's see what we can do here. So it really should only take just a few drops of the liver of sulfur inside the water here in order to get my pieces toned. So it's not like I'm dipping my pieces directly into this. That's not what's happening right now. So just a little bit. Come on. Bloop. That's it. Just a little. Let's start off with the gnome. This is the before. My one-armed, no-legged little gnome. I really should have gloves on for this. I'm going to get some gloves on. We're going to set that in there and let you watch. Hopefully you can see it. Oh yeah, it's toning. It's getting dark pretty quickly. that happened fast. He's not completely grayed out. He's got some color to him right now. So we're going to try to get as much of the liquid out of there as possible and get it neutralized. Should probably put the cap on my sulfur bottle, or the liver of sulfur. That shouldn't be hanging out without the cap on it. Okay. Next, let's pull this out and see what it looks like now that I can actually touch it. I'm going to dry it off. And later I'll go over it with just a little bit of fine steel wool so I can get some of the definition to pop. So he's not totally toned up, but you can definitely see a huge difference. Next we will do the yes and no token. Pull the spoon out of the baking soda solution. Sorry for the glare. It's already toning up. It happens fast. So apparently I did a pretty good job on my homemade liver of sulfur. Oh, cool. I was really hoping I was going to be able to see the definition in this token more once it started getting toned up, and I can. Oh, that is beautiful. I just went a little too far with the toning, more than I... maybe not. I went more than I would have liked. Yeah, I went too far with the toning. Screw it, I'm just going to go all the way. See how dark we can get this thing. Although I kind of like it how it is. I keep saying I'm going to pull it out and then I keep putting it back in. Not too shabby. Can't really see it. Here you go. Alright, I'm going to pull it out of here and put it in the baking soda. Let's see here. Can definitely see it better. See the sun and the moon up at the top? There's the sun, here's the moon. So I guess this would be the decision-making token. Pretty neat. I think this one was 0.95 ounces, so it's just under a tri-ounce. Cool looking token though. I'm gonna end up retoning this one. Alrighty. Let's see how the skull turns out. Oh boy, I really don't want to drop this thing in there. Come on. I don't think I had enough. Just barely enough volume to cover it. And it don't even really cover it, so I'm just gonna keep pouring it over the top. How much would that suck if this dish broke right now? Drop a 13.8. The skull is 13.82 troy ounces. I was guessing it was going to weigh around maybe 8 ounces. I was way off. I had enough silver in my crucible to do what I thought was going to be enough to do this. One of my silver dragon heads, along with, I pushed the face of the skull, my mold, down into the sand. I was going to make little flat skull bars. Well, not flat, but high definition, I guess. And I had enough to make this skull, and the dragon head did not come out complete. This is actually looking pretty cool. It's got a gold looking tone going to it right now. I don't know how well you can see that. So the water is cooling off quite a bit, which is probably why it's not reacting as fast. It wasn't boiling or anything when I poured it in here. It was just hot. Alright, I think that's going to be it for the skull. I hope I don't fuck it up with the spoon. Get it neutralized. Oh, this looks awesome. Holy shit. This looks fucking cool. Sorry about the hand in the view. Hold on, I'll show you the skull in just 1 second. I'm going to dry it off. This thing looks fucking awesome. I think this might be one of my favorite pours so far. Oh, wow. Check this out. Oh, come on. Look at the colors that are coming out of this thing. Awesome. I'll be right back. I'm about to run out of space on my phone. Alright, I'm back. I had to delete some old memories before I create some new ones, I guess. So the only other thing I have left here to tone is this here. Yeah. And I keep putting the same spoon in the liver of sulfur solution and into the solution to basify? Neutralize. Yeah, too many hobbies, sorry. So let's drop this in here. And see how she do. And it has definitely cooled off a lot, and it's not toning nearly as fast. Looks like copper now. Check this out. It's got a copper hue to it. Far from copper, though. You gotta be kidding. I just deleted a... Well, that was a major pain in the ass. I ended up deleting a whole bunch of videos, a whole bunch of pictures. Deleted an app off my phone that it says I haven't used in a while. And then I had to move a whole bunch of stuff over to the SD card. So, anyway, hopefully it lasts long enough to finish this video. So, my solution here has cooled off quite a bit. I was thinking about sticking the whole dish inside of another pot with water and putting it on the stove, making a double boiler. So I don't have to, well, I won't put this on the stove. That would just be foolish. Pyrex explodes. They cheaped out and started making their crap out of not borosilicate. So we're going to dip this. And that's definitely got some color to it. Toned right up. So what do you guys think? Homemade liver of sulfur. I would say that was a success. Absolutely. So they all went from shiny, shiny silver to very toned. With some pretty colors. This one probably could have stayed in a little longer. But it did come out looking pretty decent. Hey, if anybody's interested in anything on the table here, let me know. I mean, I know I've said that I haven't saved any pieces for myself. Well, that's because I sold them or gave it away. I do enjoy giving my stuff away. However, every once in a while I do have to sell something just so I can continue buying more to give more away. So, with that said, I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. Not too shabby. You could definitely tell when the solution was warm. These were the first two. And you really can't tell on the camera too much, but that did take on quite a bit of toning. You can definitely tell with this one, though. Alright, everyone. Much love. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button. And I will talk to you all soon. Gotta neutralize it. Phew, this stinks. Rotten eggs. Oh yeah. Mmm. Yeah. Much love, everyone. Ugh.